The final of the 65th Spengler Cup from Davos here in Switzerland. Hello and welcome to the impressive setting of the Davos Ice Arena here, up in the mountains for the final of this year's competition between sssr-kanada Moscow, the Russian side, now newly reformed with the demise of the Soviet Union, and the home-based Swiss side here who will have the packed capacity crowd behind them, Lugano. That's the first group for the Russian team, probably their strongest squad there in Block 1, led by captain and legendary right defenseman Igor Kravchuk. Mikhailovsky, one of two keepers alongside Sergei Naumov, goalminders for the Russian side here today. So hard to not keep calling them the Soviet side. Defending champions Spartak Moscow, this a different club side, now grappling with the new realities of sponsorship, advertising and professional sport in the erstwhile Soviet Union. Strength in depth then right through the squad as the sides take to the ice. We'll pick up the key players for you as we get into the action, as we run down the Lugano team. That's their first squad. Tosi and Olivier Anken, the men who will be dividing the goal-minding duties between them. And Tosi, we think, will start the match here, but expect Olivier Anken to come in pretty quickly. Well, three players who may be the keys to Lugano's chances of pulling off the title here today are left defenseman Gaston Gingras, there the number 29 in the third squad, going through your picture. They also have two other men beside Gaston Gingras with big-time NHL experience. That's the French-Canadian Gilles Talbudot and the left-wing Swede Kent Nilsson. So we're ready to face off in the first period. It's the Russian side who are playing from right to left in the red strip. Away we go. And Lugano in possession. Just tell you very briefly, at the end of the round-robin series of matches where the five competing club sides went against each other head-to-head, we had a three-way tie at the top between Lugano, Team Canada and the Muscovites, and Team Canada just losing out on goal difference. And another important fact is Lugano have already beaten sssr-kanada Moscow. First shot on goal from the Lugano side. Lugano already beat the Muscovites in the round-robin series, that coming in game number 10 by 5-4. Will that, I wonder, prove to be a psychological advantage? First touch for Didier Tosi, the Lugano goalminder. Right defenseman Anders Eldebrink trying to get something going. Played in across the face of Mikhailovsky's goal. Nobody there on the end of it. So both sides just sparring and feeling each other out in this first period. The number 26, Andrei Kovalenko. sssr-kanada Moscow here under the tutelage and trainership of Viktor Tikhonov, 20 years at the top in Russian ice circles. John Sletvol, the trainer for the opposition here, Lugano, who've made the short trip down from their lakeside setting, coming up to the mountains of eastern Switzerland. 7,000 fans inside the Davos Ice Center. And our first penalty offence coming early in the match for Tony there. The Lugano man is into the sin bin, and that's causing a rearrangement. Tony, in fact, they had too many players on the ice, is the offence. So that's a tactical slip by John Sletvol, coming after a couple of minutes play. too many players on the ice. Lugano. Turney goes off, and they're penalised now 2 minutes. The man down. So the advantage with the Russians in the red. Down beneath us. Now the goalkeeper's been caught into serious action so far, but the first anxious moments coming in now for the Swiss as the Muscovites go for the press. Slap shot from the right defenceman. That's the captain, Igor Kravchuk. And an anxious couple of minutes now for Lugano. Wasn't too far wide. At the moment, the Swiss then pen back, defending their goal. And surely only a matter of time, and there it is. Well, they'd had 2 attempts from long range. And the first goal comes in of the period and indeed of the final. And this was how it happened. Chibarev, the number 29, picking up the rebound there. And had enough time in front of goal just to play in the dummy. Block there from the goalminder. And through the legs of the last defence. And there it was, 1-0. The Muscovites lead. Chibarov the scorer. And that coming just after 3.5 minutes had been played in the first period. And the Swiss side really making life difficult for themselves early on in the game. They didn't want to concede an early goal. And Slipvol will be unhappy and anxious about that. It came when the Swiss were caught with too many players out on the ice. And when they went down to 4 men, the ZSKA Moscow side took full advantage as Chibarov fired the visitors ahead. Now it's Oliver Anken who came in to the action when we saw that man banished to the sin bin for the offence of having one too many players out on the ice. And as we suspected, Didier Tosi hasn't lasted more than a couple of minutes. And in comes the number 35, the second goalminder, Olivier Anken. Had no chance with the goal. Lugano then trailing here in the first period. That was a more crucial touch from the number 35 to deflect the long-range effort there from the left-hand defenceman, Sergei Zubov. Well, the early days of this competition, believe it or not, saw Oxford University helped by a strong Canadian contingent as the initial winners. They were a force to be reckoned with back in the late 20s and early 30s. And they had a certain Lester Pearson in the side, a future Prime Minister of Canada. Last won the trophy, Oxford, in 1932. Last time, aside from Great Britain, were victorious here in Davos. That 1932 side including Clarence Campbell, a Rhodes Scholar and Oxford undergraduate, who went on to become the third ever president of the National Hockey League in North America. One or two of the old boys from the pre- and post-war era are here today for this final, the 65th anniversary of the Spengler Cup, the oldest ice hockey team tournament in Europe. And they were telling me about those early days when the Oxford University players used to travel down to London twice a week by bus to practice something of the old Corinthian spirit there, where the locker room motto at Oxford that burned into every student's mind was "A healthy mind means a healthy body." So our two finalists here today, the ZSKA Moscow side, used to be the club army side in Moscow in the days of the Soviet Union, that's now history. And they've come here with, as we said, sponsors and a new professional outlook as the Russian ice hockey players, some of the finest in the world, move into the modern era. Now I think the referee may be calling for a penalty there. Vostrikov, and it's for slashing as he goes into the sin bin. Sergei Vostrikov, the Moscow number 18, and Soot has gone in there with him, and that's for excessive roughness. So that little clash there sees both sides lose a player for the penalty period. Taken down by Anken, and the puck goes dead. As Thibaudot, we were telling you about him at the start of the program. Sletvol at the moment, the Lugano team chief, just waiting for the optimum moment to bring Thibaudot into the action. Gilles Thibaudot from Montreal, 7 years in the NHL at Montreal, and the New York Islanders and the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's worn all three club colours in the NHL from 1984 through to last year. Moscow it is then in the first period, leading by 1-0. That goal coming after 3.5 minutes from Igor Chibarov, when the Russian side had a man advantage. And at the moment, Lugano guilty of giving the puck away and rather penned in their own half of the rink, unable to put any pressure on Mikhailovsky, who'd seen the puck for at least the last 5 minutes. So both sides now back to a full complement of players. The penalty period has ticked by without a goal. So back to 6 aside, 5 outfield players there out on the ice, as the Russians continue to play a little cat and mouse with their Swiss hosts. This is good play. Cross shot touched away by Olivier Anken, who's been busy in this first period. In action again, and another clash in front of the Swiss goal, and this may well be another penalty as the referee sorts it out. Gaston Gingras there with his back to us, the number 29, is the man in trouble, I think. Referee quickly between them. Gingras, another French-Canadian in the Lugano colours today with NHL experience, over 10 years that gathered at Montreal and the Maple Leafs in Toronto. There's our friend Viktor Tikhonov. The first time I think we've ever seen him at a major ice hockey event without a three-piece suit. He's now got a very smart sponsor's anorak on today. That's a sign of the times behind the former Iron Curtain. Hebel, the number 24 for Lugano. Five teams then entered this tournament. The 65th Spengler Club. Every year here in Davos, it was Moscow, Malmö, Team Canada, Mannheim from Germany and Lugano. End of the first period, 1-0 for the Russians. Lugano then a goal down after the first period. That goal coming from Chibarov after just 3.5 minutes play. The home fans hoping for something better from Lugano as we start the second. In the face-off circle. Spartak Moscow, as we said, winners the last 2 years of this competition, but prior to that, in 1988, it was Team USA. So it hasn't been a clean sweep in previous years for the East Europeans by any means at all. Indeed, Team Canada were also twice successful back in the mid-80s. Be very interesting indeed to see how the Russians now adapt to the new climate of professional sport and having to pay their way without the feather bedding of the old Soviet Ice Hockey Federation behind them. Well, the Moscow club side do have a sponsor. It's a Russian entrepreneur who's involved in the forestry business. He's putting some money behind this new look Moscow side. In the red here today, who lead by a 0-0. They have a problem, however, at the start of the second, as into the sin bin goes the number 8, is it? Yes, it is. It's the centre, Maslenikov. 2 minutes then for Maslenikov as the Russian side go down to 4 outfield players, and a chance now for Lugano. They must utilise these 2 minutes to find an equaliser. It was when Lugano themselves were guilty of being caught with 1 too many men on the ice in the first period that the Russians took the lead, thanks to Chibarov's goal following the power play. Now Lugano must produce something similar. They have the man advantage. They're in possession here in the white. Long-range effort slapped away by Mikhailovsky in the Russian goal. And back it comes again. Tikhonov beneath us anxiously watches the clock. Maslenikov's offence holding as he clashed with the Swiss player, and use of an elbow as well, I thought, in there. Lucky not to get penalty for roughing. But holding is the offence. Maslenikov in the sin bin. Russians defending a slender 1-goal lead here in the second period. And high over the Moscow goal, the whistle's gone. Mikhailovsky hasn't really been tested so far in the Moscow goal, the goalminder. So much experience right through this Russian side. Away we go again. And at the moment, the spark missing from the Swiss. They're not creating any openings and really not putting the Moscow side under real pressure as they should. And the whistle's gone for that. Hooking, perhaps, was it, from Bertagia beneath us, who's being called back to the referee. May get a penalty here. Sandro Bertagia. There he goes, the number 2. Is off for that offence. Hooking, indeed, is... His offence flashed up on the electronic scoreboard above the spectators here in Davos. This was why it happened. So the Muscovites bringing on the big players for a period now which sees them with the man advantage, and looking to turn their numerical superiority into a second goal. The big players are out there now. Sergei Zubov, 21-year-old, who's contracted for the New York Rangers for the coming season. We've got 5 players here today in Davos with a draft contract in their pockets for the coming NHL season. And now it's power play time from the Russians. And the Swiss desperately defending that goal of Olivier Anken. Centre right in front of the net, choosing to play without a helmet. It's easy to pick out. to the guard. Got a real chance here. Broken up by the Swiss. Living on their nerves at the moment. Man back on the ice. Penalty period over then. Bertagia rejoins the fray. But back come the Russians. Broken up by Domenichoni. It hasn't gone very far. And there it is, a second for the Russians. I thought for a second the referee was going to rule it out. Celebrations then as goal number 2 goes in. And we told you the big boys were out on the ice. And it's from Sergei Zubov, the number 3. The left defence man snaps up a simple chance. Here it came from the rebound, just a couple of yards. And in fact, it was straight in from Zubov. He didn't need the help of the sender in front of the unguarded net. 21-year-old Muscovite then, on his way to join the New York Rangers in the next NHL draft, and immediately the Lugano side come under renewed pressure. And suddenly Moscow have the bit between their teeth now at 2, looking instantly for a third. 2-0 in the second period. CSKA lead Lugano in the final of this year's Spengler Cup. Face off to the right of the Swiss goal. It's a critical period now for Sletvold's men. Feel they have to score quickly in this second period. They could so easily be swept aside by the Moscow club team. And half a yard quicker at the moment out on the ice. The men in red suddenly now in full flow. Forward they come once again. Leading by 2-0. Chibarov in the first period. After 3.5 minutes, Zubov in the second. A couple of moments ago. Right across in front of Anken's goal. Offered no protection at all there by the last line of defence. Lugano now living dangerously. The man who's just served the penalty period, Bertagia, and a third goes in. Protest towards the referee, led by Bertagia. He'll have to be careful, having just served that 2-minute ban for hooking. It's number 3, however, for the Soviets. Petrov, I think, is the scorer. Good play here from Oleg Petrov. There he was, taking it round from behind the net. And doing it all on his own without an assist. Third goal then coming in for CSKA Moscow. And Petrov confirmed on the score caption. And suddenly in the space of a couple of minutes, it's gone from 1 to 3. And Lugano now with their backs to the wall. Well, Bertagia didn't like it, led the Lugano protest. Hard really from here to see what he was complaining about. Seemed a perfectly valid goal against the name of the number 14, Oleg Petrov. Petrov, the right winger then, taking the ball, the puck through alone behind the net and slipping it beneath keeper Olivier Anken. And the Russians in complete control at the moment out there on the ice. But still a long way to go in this final for the Spengler Cup. Dmitry Mironov Puck is back for icing. Face-off just beneath us. Lugano in a familiar position on the defensive, but here in possession of the puck. Off the backboards, whistle's gone. It's offside. Tikhonov must be pretty happy at this stage in the match. So the big players put the pressure on for 2 minutes, in which Lugano conceded 2 further goals. Off comes Sergei Zubov. Andrei Kovalenko, another 21-year-old on his way to join the Quebec Nordique club side in the NHL. Chance, perhaps, well, good play by Mikhailovsky once again. Smothers the puck. Shooting opportunities few and far between for the Swiss. They need to take everyone that comes their way. Tried to get it through the legs of Mikhailovsky. He's too experienced for that. Shot coming in from, I think it was the number 12, Robert Lavnia. That's what they're playing for here this year in Davos. This wonderful setting up in the Swiss mountains, up the valley from Chur. Klosters just down the road, familiar to British skiers. Some of the finest skiing in all Europe here in the Davos, Klosters, Arosa area. And Lugano, I'm afraid, have conceded another one. The big freeze really being put on the Swiss now by the Moscow side in full flow. And number 4 from, it's Chibarov, scorer from the first period. At a second, here it is. The number 29 is through unopposed. All the time in the world to draw Olivier Anken. And the goalminder left completely exposed here. Chibarov on the break. And in the second period, it's the Moscow side who now lead Lugano by 4-0. Welcome back to the ice hall here in Davos. Still in the second period. And you see here the side in red, Moscow, leading by 4-0, close to a fifth there as the puck flies just over the Lugano crossbar. And at the moment, the Swiss side finding themselves bereft of answers to contain the CSKA Moscow side, as Tikhonov has once again, perhaps with a little kidology, lulled the other club teams in competition here through the round robin. He saved his best cards to last in this final. The Russians, whatever we want to call them now, no longer the Soviets, but still a superb side in ice hockey terms. Perhaps the one nation everybody will want to beat. Chibarov has 2, Moscow have 4, and Lugano at the moment have no answer to Tikhonov's men. It's a happy Russian bench there in this second period. Face-off down beneath us, a chance perhaps for Lugano to craft something. Mikhailovsky has held everything that's come his way. The first-string goalminder for the Muscovites. Might be a little bit of high sticking there. It is. Oktyabrov is off the ice. He'll have a 2-minute penalty. Artur Oktyabrov. He's one of the more interesting characters in this Lugano side. Steve Isuria. But even going a man down, it's still Moscow who are so quick on the break. One disappointment for the Swiss fans here, who've gone very quiet, I have to say, in the last 5 minutes or so, where they've seen the Russians craft 3 more goals. Is this man now in possession? Kent Nielsen, the number 4. The left wing has been very subdued indeed, and looks a rather resigned figure at the moment, out on the far side of the rink. Now beneath us, the number 3, Anders Elderbrink, the left defence man. They must bring Nilsson more into the play. The Swede has been completely out of it here as we come to the midpoint in this second period. More pressure at last being exerted by the Lugano side, but it's always the final pass at the moment that's missing. And Nilsson, who's played 8 years in the NHL for the Calgary Flames, the Minnesota North Stars, and indeed has had his hands on the Stanley Cup when he was playing in the colours of the Edmonton Oilers. Well, he's no stranger to the big time, is he? But today, in front of the loyal Swiss fans, has been a major disappointment for Lugano's hopes of causing an upset here and taking the trophy, and they go another goal down. And that was Russian play, really characteristic of the last 20-25 years in which they've dominated this sport. They've got plenty of support here inside the ice hall in Davos. It's 5 now, and number 5 coming in from Chiborov, who has a hat-trick, 3 in this match already, from Ivan Chiborov. There he is, taking the congratulations of the crowd. Ivan, did I call him? Sorry, it's Igor Chiborov. So a great second period now, as the Russians in total command stretch their lead. 5-0. Lugano, well, stunned really, rolled over by the red machine. They've conceded 4 in 10 minutes in this second period. And that breakout, even when the Russians were a man down after Oktyabrov had gone into the sin bin for high sticking. They continue to outthink and outmaneuver the Swiss players, who look, well, at times a yard slow, and now another chance, well, close to number 6, spurned by the Russians. Kovalenko, the 21-year-old right winger. Vladimir Malakov, another man on his way to join the New York Islanders. John Sletfall not happy at all, taking his frustration out on the match officials. But really, I think at the end of this second period, he's got to get his troops together, and that's where the blame lies. Easy to point the accusing finger at the referees. Always the Aunt Sallies of sport, aren't they? At the moment, Lugano down, but not yet buried, trailing by 5-0. Olivier Ancren will smother the puck. So he's been preferred to Didier Tossi for much of this final. Tossi started the action for the first couple of minutes in period 1 only. Olivier Ancren's not done too much wrong. You can see how the Swiss now have lost all their early fervour, as they've had to witness a mean performance from the Russian side, which has humbled Lugano and put the dampener on this Spengler Cup final. Hoping so much, of course, the locals, for a victory from the Lugano side. They've brought a lot of travelling support with them up into the mountains from their superb lakeside setting. Now Lugano making ground. Here's Nilsson switching to this near side. Slap shot. Blocked by Mikhailovsky. Has Nilsson, I wonder, reawakened his appetite? Stung by criticism. His lacklustre display in the first period certainly had trainer John Sletvold looking to galvanise his side for this second period, but who would have thought they'd come out and concede 4 quick goals as they have. And with that, position perhaps their chance has well and truly gone here out on the ice. Well, comebacks of this sort have been seen before in the NHL. And in ice hockey terms, this fastest team sport in the world can all turn around very quickly indeed. Let's not write Lugano off just yet. Still a lot of ice hockey to be played here in this final. And as Elderbrink has seen plenty of the action. Good stick control once again from the number 3, the left defensive man. Picking it up, Andy Thorn. It has to go backwards. Bruno Rogge, the captain, urging his men on. That's with the number 6, Patrick Sutter. Andre Röteli. There's a different dimension about the Russians' play when they get into the final third of the rink, no doubt about it, in front of Olivier Anken's goal. Incisive, quick thinking, imaginative, and that's why they lead here in the second period by 5-0. Sergei Zubov going off, and Vostrikov has a penalty for holding. So 2-minute penalty puts the Muscovite side down to 4 outfield players, and another renewed opportunity for Lugano to make the advantage count. This time perhaps at last they can get on the score sheet as we come towards the end of the second period here. Muddled play once again. Now they rebuild and launch another attack over on the far side. In goes Nielsen. Way back. And the Russians have it again. Steal the puck. So quick on the break. Just heard that one ping against the framework of the goal as the puck came in. Something approaching 70 miles an hour. Great defensive play once again from Sergei Zubov. Six feet tall, 187 pounds, born in Moscow. Still only 21. No wonder the New York Rangers have put him into their draft for the new NHL season. Now the goal's off its moorings, the whistle's gone, and Mikhailovsky's down. But Lugano denied once again, and that was great defensive cover from Sergei Zubov, the number 2, getting back there to deny the Swiss as they broke up the right-hand side of the ice. Look at that, he's 2 yards behind the pace, just gets in a despairing dive as Mikhailovsky goes down. But midway through the second period here, it's the Russians who lead by 5-0. Welcome back. There's an injury to the Russian goalminder, who continues to receive treatment down there on the ice. We hope nothing too serious. Maxim Mikhailovsky, who's been a tower of strength at one end for his side in the first couple of periods, while at the other it's Igor Chibarov with a hat-trick. That's given his side the advantage. They lead by 5-0 as a shaken. Mikhailovsky resumes the goal-minding position, dons the protective gear, and is, we hope, fit to continue in this final. Zubov, concerned, asking questions of the goalminder. This is his third and final season with the side from the capital of the new Russian Federation. That's Yevgeny Davidov we're looking at there, 24 years old, from Chelyabinsk. Will be playing for the Winnipeg Jets if they exercise their option on the draft choice to take him into the NHL next season. So Lugano in the white, in possession, with a man advantage. Still they can't find a way through. The ball deflects, the puck deflects off the skates of the goalminder. The referee gets in between Eberle, the 24, and the number 2 is Maslyenikov, who's already been in the sin bin for a holding offence at the start of this period. And there's the man from Japan, Tsuchirara. Well, dazed or not, Mikhailovsky got enough on that shot to divert the puck just over the framework of the goal. Back it came from Freddy Lutti, and then the whistle, and Jörg Eberle is into the sin bin for slashing. Kravchuk joins him for a cross check. That's the Russian captain. So both sides down a man as the captain Kravchuk gives his version of events, but he won't mind too much with that score. Illuminated above the players here on the electronic scoreboard, he knows that Moscow are looking comfortable here at 5-0. Lugano then looking to find some consolation and perhaps prevent total humiliation. Can they, I wonder, at last in this second period, find a way through and get on the score sheet? Puck just away from Nilsson, when in a good position there, really. Lack of control from the Swede. They're almost toying with the Russians now, but still they can't find a way through. And now it's Sugiura who's in some trouble. Well, despite all that padding and the helmet and protective gear, Sugiura from Japan is going to require some attention. And that was Dmitry Motkov there involved. And in fact is going to be penalised for that, slashing with the stick. You saw that across the back of the ankles of the Lugano man, and that was quite unnecessary. Sitting pretty at 5-0. The crowd unhappy with that. A little bit of roughhouse tactics there from the Russians. Well, they're cruising it really in this final, and that's a sad sight to see at any sporting level. Sugiura is escorted off the ice, and Dmitry Motkov, the number 21, is off for a penalty period. Let's hope that Sugiura is not too severely injured. A better view of that earlier on from our camera position behind Mikhailovsky's goal, and that was brutal. There goes some ice. Bruised ribs by the look of it. Unnecessary Dmitry Motkov souring this final, which has been played in a fairly good spirit up to now. We haven't seen any mass brawls, as the Russians have really let their stick do the talking for them on that occasion. Well, Motkov's stick certainly wasn't making contact with the puck, and quite rightly penalised for the misconduct. Potential flashpoint there, but we continue with the action. Lugano on the break. Shot comes in, and at last they find a way through. The puck eludes Maxim Mikhailovsky. He's beaten at last. 5-1, no more than a consolation, and it comes from Byakin. At last the Swiss supporters have something to cheer. Ilya Byakin, the number 7. Well, he's normally down on the team sheets as a left winger, but there he was switching to the right, and a low shot that just eludes goalminder Mikhailovsky. May still be feeling the effects of that tumble he took a few moments ago. There's one man who certainly is. Sugiura continues to receive attention to what must be a very painful back, or perhaps it's ribs. Even the bench doesn't know. So the player himself unsure of just where in fact the injuries occurred. Maybe a dislocation there. Got something off, he said. You heard that quite clearly from our camera position. Confirmation of the consolation goal for the Lugano side from Byakin. Hard as nails, Viktor Tikhonov, the Moscow coach. And as things have just got out of hand in the last few moments, it began really with Dmitry Motkov slashing there on the Lugano man, which caused, as we saw, Sugiura to leave the ice for continued attention to what may be a serious injury. Let's hope not. It's given Lugano the opportunity to get back in the match with a goal at 5-1, and now Vladimir Malakov is off for a misconduct penalty, and he's going to have to face 10 minutes in the sin bin. A 10-minute penalty then against the Muscovite, the number 7, Vladimir Malakov. Has a 10-minute misconduct penalty. This perhaps the best chance for Lugano now, if they can find a couple of quick goals to reduce the arrears. They'll be keen to get on with things at the end of the second period, their best opportunity, as the Russians have lost some discipline. And the Swiss have refound their voice. Played back from behind the boards by Ebele. Now back on the ice. Snap shot from Anders Elderbrink, left defenseman. And down the boards it goes, as the Russians regather, draw a deep breath, and Lugano come back at them in another attacking wave again. Back to the point man, Elderbrink. We'll try one from there. The crowd roars, but certainly it was Mikhailovsky's all the way as he smothers the puck. Refuses to be intimidated.
Yeah, stop, man.
Well, let's hope it's not serious than a strain, perhaps. So Giura was just winded there as he felt the full force of Motkov's slashing attack hit the ice with some force a few moments ago. Meanwhile, play continues. The Russian side down a man. Malakov in the sin bin for misconduct. Still 8.5 minutes left on that penalty. Lugano trailing by 5 goals to 1. But given a lift thanks to Biakin's shot that went home 2 minutes ago. Now they're playing with more verve and vigour. So Tikhonov wanting to reshape the pack once again. Shuffling the troops. Kovalenko, Mazlenikov, Davidov, Sergei Zubov, Captain Kravchuk. Once again at critical points in this final, that wily old fox Tikhonov putting out his best players when he deems it most appropriate. This could be a crucial session now for the Moscow side. They lead here, don't forget, by 5 goals to 1, coming under pressure perhaps for the first time in this match. And you see now how the Swiss are suddenly hungry for the puck. Coming down to the final 10 seconds then of the second period, a period that began with Moscow leading by the solitary goal. Well, 5 more we've seen go home in this second spell, and it now means Moscow will go into the third period leading Lugano by 5 goals to 1. There's the hooter at the end of the second. We'll be back after this short break for the third and final period from Davos. Welcome back as we face off at the beginning of the third period here with CSKA Moscow leading Lugano by 5 goals to 1. Well, we were suggesting before the break that the outcome of this year's Spengler Cup may now be a formality, but it's got altogether rougher and tougher in the last few moments of that second period, as you saw, with the serious misconduct penalty against Vladimir Malakov and the unfortunate injury to the American-Japanese Steve Sugiura. So into the third and final period here in the Davos Ice Hall. And at 5-1, have Lugano given themselves any way back into this, the final match of the series? The 5 teams who came into this competition: Team Canada, Malmö from Sweden, and Mannheim representing Germany, who've been put out in the round-robin series, leaving Lugano and the Russians here in the red strip to contest the final 60 minutes of action. So at the start of the final period, the Moscow side have put on their 5th block. Goryujuk, Leshchov, Salamatin, Oktyabryo. Yakin, who was the scorer of the Lugano consolation goal coming at the end of that second period. And into the sin bin goes Domenicioni for excessive roughness, 2-minute penalty for the number 19. from the Swiss side. And Maslenikov joins him for cross-checking. So are we, I wonder, in for another open spell of play with both teams minus a man out there on the ice. Soviets playing from right to left in this final period. Torrid time in the Lugano goal for Olivier Anken, who's seen 5 go past him already. Break on now for Lugano. It really was a nothing effort. Shaped for a shot on target from, for me, the outstanding player on the ice here this afternoon, Sergei Zubov. And the defence man gets back quickly to snuff out the danger from Lugano's goal scorer on the far side. There, the number 7, Biakin. Body checking from Deltagia. He's already been in the wars and the Simbin in this final. Prepared to mix it up once again here down beneath us, as Gaston Gingras, the French-Canadian professional, goes in search of his stick. And that's once again well covered by Olivier Anken. Kills the puck and stops the play. Tikhonov still with plenty to say. Very proud, I can tell you, of that sponsor's jacket he's been given for this, the 65th Spengler Cup from Davos here in the Swiss Alps. And the whistle's gone once again. And once again, the reason being that Olivier Anken has the puck safely in that goal-minding mitt. More freedom of travel now coming in with the breakup of the old Soviet Union, allowing the Moscow club side to enjoy plenty of local support here today in Davos. Not too sure what they're doing for hard currency up here in the Swiss Alps, but enjoying every moment of this final, I'm sure. Now with the freedom to travel to major sporting events worldwide. Play switching from end to end here. Oh, how did that one stay out? I think it was against the inside of the left-hand post and across the... must have run right across the goal line. The referee having to quickly get in between number 11, Freddie Luti. And this was how close the Russian side were to number 6. It was indeed against that. There, the right-hand post, left hand as the Russians looked at it. Just screwing across the face of goal. Somebody playing hooky from school, perhaps, here in Davos, who doesn't want to be recognised by our cameras. So can Lugano now rest the initiative and get the puck away from the Russians at the moment, CSKA, just happy to play it around amongst themselves and sit on their lead. But an early goal here in the third and final period might just set us up for a real grandstand finale. On the burst, down the ice goes the Lugano right winger of Gilles Thibaudot. I haven't seen too much of him. The man from Montreal with big NHL experience with the Canadiens, the New York Islanders and the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's had a disappointing final here. Gilles Thibaudot along with Gaston Gingras and Kent Nielsen, the three NHL experienced men in the Lugano side who've been kept pretty quiet by the Russians. Tikhonov laid his tactics well and knew all about the threat that came from the Swiss side. That's been negated and nullified here today. Tikhonov, the fox, the master tactician, looks very much as if he's taking the Moscow club side here to victory. In the third year in succession that a Moscow side has won this international team ice hockey tournament, Spartak Moscow the previous 2 years emerging victorious. Two-minute penalty for cross-checking. Vladimir Malakov, not for the first time, into the sin bin. Two-minute penalty then against the Russians, and a face-off to the left of Mikhailovsky's goal. Well, Chibarov's written the headlines with his hat-trick, with goals in first and second periods. But for me, Mikhailovsky's been outstanding in the goal-minded position. You get a great view there of, you can see really how he had that shot covered all the way, and there was no venom in the effort from the Lugano player. And from that position you just get some idea of the dizzying speed at which this game is played. What a rigorous and demanding sport this is. Nielsen have to come back. Well, he's down on the team sheets to play up the left for Lugano, but he's been seen more down the right flank here in this final match. Andy Torn as the Swiss still without the injured Sugiura in this final spell. And back it goes to Freddie Luthi. Play switches to the left flank. Misunderstanding. Luthi picks it up once again. Finds it's a great pass inside. And that's a fine goal for Lugano. And it's a second for the number 7, Byakin. But it was an intelligent and incisive through pass from Freddie Luthi. Regained possession here, the Lugano man checks inside, looks up, assesses the options. That's a great pass. And the puck tailor-made there into the path of Byakin to fire home the second for Lugano. Just what they needed at the start of the third period. And now Moscow lead by 5-2. And perhaps the pick of the 7 we've seen so far just took a deflection off the inside of that right-hand upright. And indeed it wouldn't have mattered. The ball was already over the line and there was a player following up to make certain. So too for Byakin. Ilya Byakin, the left-sided attacking player, found himself there in the centre's position. But the assist to Freddie Luthi from Lugano. And that may just give hope and heart to coach John Sletvold. The Swede will be looking for one final effort here from his troops. They've got it back to 5-2. Now, if they can find another goal from somewhere fairly quickly in this third and final period, we could set ourselves up for a grandstand finale. Anders Eldebrink's had a good game. Unhappy with the attentions he's receiving there was Jörg Eberle. Eberle once again picks it up. And the Russians may just be made to pay for a little casual play in this third period as they sat back on the lead at 5-1. Trying to make the game safe. They've conceded one. And there's Mikhailovsky sprawling once again on the ice to deny Eberle. He keeps driving forward. No whistle. That attack broken up by Lutin. Seems to be everywhere at the moment. Lugano, they've got men forward here. But having to check and go backwards was Andy Thorn. And with the job all but completed, Tikhonov just rings the changes once again to play out the final few moments. Oleg Petrov goes into the sin bin for slashing. So one last effort now for Lugano with the man advantage. 4 plays 5 in the outfield out there on the ice here in the Davos Eishalle. Scramble in front of the Russian goal. Mikhailovsky out of position and stretched once again. Eldebrink waiting for a pass here at the bottom of your picture. The Swiss playing it around the backboards, probing for an opening. Got a man up, don't forget here. Comes back in front of goal. Might be eluding everybody. Forward goes Lutin, Eberle combining. Now some of the Lugano players and the fans unhappy. Play was halted there. Already Lutti wants to know why. It'll be a face-off. Russians have their hat-trick hero Chivarov back out on the ice. Coming into the final phase of this third period. And Mikhailovsky, who's conceded one, determined not to concede another. And Tikhonov making his point with a gesture that needs no translation. A smile for our cameras as well. Great ambassador for Russian ice hockey over the years. Familiar figure at Ice Arena all around the world. Olympics, world events, championships. With both club and country. Looking as if he's about to score another success here today and see the CSKA Moscow side lift the Spengler Cup. Swiss dispossessed. I think that one came back from the top of the crossbar with Olivia Anken beaten. And the Muscovites showing they can turn it on when they want to, having relaxed for a spell here in the third. Mikhailovsky at full stretch and needs to recover quickly, smothers the puck with help there from the defenceman, the number 22, Leschov. Mazlenikov. It's been a tower of strength at the back today for Moscow. Well, the crowd will cheer both sides on to the final hooter. Face-off to the right of the Russian goal. Moscow in possession, giving it away. Back goes Patrick Suter. And he, in turn, guilty of an error. Now Lugano can bring it away down the left. Off target, second shot comes in, down goes Mikhailovsky. Stretch for a second there. But Lugano, when they've had the opportunity, failing once again to make it count. Eberle none too pleased with things, nonplussed. They're the number 24. Who's done more than most to attempt a reversal in fortunes in this third and final period. And the Russians now close to celebrating further success here in Davos for this year. And there it is, the final hooter. It's handshakes all round as the Russians take to the ice and celebrate their success at this year's Spengler Cup from Davos. They have beaten the Swiss side. Lugano finishes runners-up. Conclusive, the final scoreline, 5-2. The undoubted star of the Russian side, Chibarov, with that hat-trick. We'll leave you with that final score caption, and from everybody here in the Swiss Alps, bye-bye.